안녕하세요. 저는 키프로스에서 세트7 방송 사역을 하고 있는 김현민 선교사입니다. 저희 세트7에 이란어 채널이 있습니다. 그리고 제가 사역하는 팀에서 최근에 그 이란어 채널에 이란 현지인인 그 매니저와 인터뷰를 하나 했는데요. 제가 그 내용을 들어보니까 이 내용을 한국 교회와 성도님들께도 좀 보내드리면 좋겠다는 생각이 들었습니다. 이제 영상을 보시면 아시겠지만 두 명의 사람이 나오는데 그 중에 한 명은 저와 같이 사역하고 있는 동료 선교사고요. 그 인터뷰를 하는 사람은 레자라고 하는 분인데 이란인이고 저희 이란어 채널의 매니저입니다. 그분은 현재는 이란을 떠나서 이렇게 해외 생활을 하고 키프로스에 저와 함께 사역을 하고 있는데 보안 문제 때문에 이란에 다시 가지는 못합니다. 그런데 가족들은 지금 다 이란에 있고요. 여러분들이 잘 아시겠지만 지금 이란에 큰 전쟁이 나서 아주 어려운 상황인데 뉴스 보도가 워낙 많이 계속 있기 때문에 여러분들도 상황은 다 아시겠지만 이란 교회 특히 성도들의 목소리를 듣기는 쉽지 않기 때문에 제가 오늘 영상을 좀 보내드립니다. 인터뷰가 영어라서 좀 불편하실 수 있는데 제가 한글로 자막을 달아놨으니까 그거 보시면서 우리 한국 교회와 성도님들이 이란 교회와 성도들을 위해서 어떻게 기도를 해야 되는지 그 내용을 좀 이해하실 수 있는 그런 기회가 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 이란 교회와 이란을 위해서 기도해 주세요.
First, I just want to hear how you're doing, and also like what you're hearing from your family and the general vibe that you have from other Iranians, both inside and outside the country.
Yeah. Thanks for your question. Well, as it concerns me personally, obviously I'm monitoring the situation with stress, and at the same time with some degree of hope and optimism. But I try to not let it to carry away with neither negative side of the story and positive side of the story, because I know many times God has something in store that we cannot see, and but we can trust in Him. But when it comes to my personal emotion, as I think like the rest of Iranians, whether in diaspora or inside the country especially, we've got all sort of mixed feelings, because the situation in general, it's very uncertain and fragile. When it comes to the people, the Iranian in particular, Iranian inside the country at the moment, of course, they are horrified with the war that is happening, because war is never something, even with good intention or even with the good outcome, war is always ugly, regardless of how it will, what it leads to. Therefore, people are horrified, especially the people that have small children, because they have to also make sure the mental health of their family and children, and they have this extra burden for that. And but at the same time, what is really fascinating for me is that since beginning of the year, when everything started, throughout the whole roller coaster of the series of incidents and events that took place, and at some point there were some depressing time, at some point there were some unifying time and proud time, all these things, people still holding on to hope, and they haven't lost it, which it shows that they truly are really believing in a brighter future.
When we do hear from viewers, either through relatives or directly, what is the general message from people inside Iran?
The most consistent message I'm hearing, not just from our viewers, but when I hear on other channels, other networks on social media, like Persian news outlets, outside of the country, is that the message that comes from people in Iran is towards their relative outside, and they all tell them, do not worry about us, we are fine, stay strong. They are the ones giving strength to the people outside who are worried about their family in Iran, which is quite surreal and inspiring. So basically, overall, if I want to sum it up and summarize it, I can say again one word: the true resilience and courage that it's been heard from people inside Iran.
Have you heard anything from like churches?
There are still house churches gathering in Iran, but it's, in terms of number of attendees and the frequency of the services is less because of the situation in Iran. However, what I can see from the network of the churches in the underground church inside Iran, and also the Iranian church in the diaspora, I can see that the unity in praying and in basically advocating for God's intervene, in people's heart. The chain of connection didn't get broken, but it got stronger. Maybe not in quantity, but in depth. So that's also another beautiful thing, that the church is really standing strong and trying, to partake and participate towards the society with giving people hope, strength, praying, and everything they can, to help, their country, fellow country people.
And I feel like when people are not able to meet or fear for going outside, it just emphasizes the importance of what we do in Set 7.
Definitely. One of the things that I heard from 3 different people directly, one was actually one of my own colleague, the person who works with me, is during the time that we were very depressed and right before the war starts, and really we were like very overwhelmed with all the bad news or all the horrific things we were hearing, and we had some special programming that it was intercession, prayer, and worship and everything together. They were very special for these times about Iran. And she told me that, I was at home and I was so depressed, and I was working from home, and I suddenly see that in our YouTube channel, and I started watching. And she said, as I was watching, I watched almost the entire things, and after I felt so calm and so relieved after that, and she asked me, can you upload the audio files in Dropbox for me so I can download and put it on my mobile, so when I'm driving, if I'm stressed, I listen to it. And also I heard it from one of our viewers, or actually loyal viewers from Turkey, that he said the similar things. And the third person, actually I haven't heard from him, but it was myself. I remember one day I was so overwhelmed, especially it was the time that I haven't heard anything from my mother for about nearly 2 weeks, and I was very worried because I had no idea, although
because she's inside the country.
Yeah, she's inside the country, and she's old and she's alone, so I was just praying that hopefully she's safe. And I was really, I was like kind of, broken in a way. And because part of my job is, because I'm working in digital, I was uploading this program in our Sat7 Plus page. And as I was doing that, I was doing the preview and started listening to some of the, short messages and prayer. And I don't remember, I didn't realize the time passed. And after I was just listening for, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes out of 30 minutes of the program. And after that, I was feeling so calm. But before that, I was like a burning fire with all the stress. And I was like, this is actually what Sat7 meant to do. This is during such times that Sat7 can make changes that nobody else can. Because through the Word of God, through the power of worship and power of comfort in the Word of God, we can bring something. People in war they need. So people in war, what they need? They need like a physical safety and other means of the physical realm, which we cannot unfortunately
No.
help. I wish we could. But most importantly is their spiritual and mental health. And one thing that is most effective and impactful and almost immediately healing is actually the gospel and what you hear from the the promises of God and the comfort that you can receive from that, and also through the worship that elevates and lift up your spirit, which during the time of crisis is actually sometimes is more vital than physical needs, you know, in some cases.
Yeah.
And that's distinguish what like ministries that they can do. They can do something that nobody else can does, you know, because no matter how many times you read news, how much, you know, tweets or posts you read, none of them can bring you peace, comfort, and hope. The only thing does is the word of God, is knowing the affirmation of Jesus, you know, about that I am with you. Do not fear. Even if things are fearful, one thing that can take away your fear is I am with you. If I was not a believer, I almost am 100%, I cannot say 100%, but almost 100%, I'm confident that mentally I would have broken by now, and spiritually. The only thing that kept me intact, especially my spiritual and mental well-being, was my faith.